Super Plus.
Greetings and welcome to the Hills of Steel Tank Breakdown series. I'm your host Andrew and we're back to introduce another tank into the series. This time we're going to be taking a look at one of our epic tanks. Everyone say hello to the Mammoth. This tank is a big blasting tank and it's going to be a lot of fun for people to play. It of course comes with a number of skins that you can change into: copper, meteor and electronic. We're going to go with meteor because hot rod flames is always the answer. Of course, you can also spice up your driver, so don't forget to do that as well. Let's give ours a little randomization, just so it fits in with the tank. As always, the tank comes with all the typical boosters that you find. This time, we're actually going to be using the napalm. We'll give it a couple of upgrades, which you can do with coins. As we take a look at the statistics of Mammoth, you can see by the new visual on the left hand side that it now shows you where the current tank is based on your level and what it can achieve. Mammoth, as you can see, is a relatively slow moving tank, but has really good damage and at some point can become quite tanky. Because we're only level 3, you can see our tankiness is on the little bit of the lower side, but that won't stop us. There's a number of key things to remember whenever you're playing Mammoth, so let's not delay any further and jump into some action so that we can see exactly what that looks like. As always, let's start off with some Midsummer Siege. So with Mammoth, as we stated, not the quickest moving tank, but still not slow that it's going to be an issue. With the large barrel that we have on the front of the tank, it means that the balance of the tank is a little bit different compared to other ones. So you can see that the weight actually falls forward a little bit when moving over certain hills. The weapon itself is a single large blast that fires off a missile in a straight line. In most cases, this is going to be a one-shot ability. If you hit a tank directly on, most likely they will disappear. You can also see that when you fire the missile, there's a large recoil on it. When using this, you'll need to be careful where you're placing yourself on the map. As you can see, when you're sitting on an upward hill and firing, it forces you back down. Whenever you then find yourself on a hill that is sloping downwards and you fire, you'll notice that because the recoil pushes backwards, but we have the hill to support us, we don't actually move that far backwards. So just be careful of when you're firing off the shot, whether you're on an uphill or a downhill slope. In most cases, you're going to want to find yourself either downhill or on flat terrain, but, as is always, is not likely in a lot of the maps. So as you see, when we move across the terrain with a lot of little bumps, the balance of the tank bounces around backward and forward quite a bit. This means that you're going to need to be careful when moving across the terrain at faster speeds. Now let's actually take a look at the action. As we make our way across and start firing off shots, you'll notice that we miss quite a few. Because the shot is such a straight line, it means that the terrain is important when lining up your shot. If you're sitting on a hill where you fire and it goes too high, you'll need to adjust so that the barrel of the gun is facing a little bit downwards. As you just noticed, a shot on the upwards hill forces all the way back, and if we were getting charged down by other tanks, could be very dangerous. Sitting at the bottom of this little dip, we're also not aligned right, so our shots are going up and above the other tanks. So we need to adjust, make sure that the barrel is pointing directly at the tank we want to take down, and then fire off the shot. Let's now take a look at the action versus a boss. Legion is going to be the first one we go up against. You'll notice that the first shot does a decent amount of damage, however the second one is more than enough to take it down. In most cases, Mammoth will actually be able to 2-3 shot a tank boss and is incredibly good at taking them down. So, one of the other things that we always talk about is how do these tanks go up against air units. So let's jump over to our other favourite and take a look at that. In this jungle map, however, there is a lot of hills, and this could be quite tricky for Mammoth, because not only will it be difficult for us to move across with the balance of the tank, but also the positioning of the shots is going to be much more of a challenge. You'll notice here that we miss quite a few because it's either too high or too low, and we're shooting over or into the ground. So this is going to be a real challenge for players that want to try out Mammoth. Jungle will be the one that actually challenges them the most to line up the straight shot the best. As we also stated, in this map we come across air units. Air units are very easy to take down if you can directly hit them. As with the land units, it is a one shot. But with it being such a straight shot, it means that we do have to use the hills in order to line that shot up. Another thing here that you'll see is that with the hills, we can't use them to our advantage to hide behind, because our shots can't go up and over. It means that we need to do one of two things. We need to aggressively push in, or we need to wait for the tank to come for us. One of the problems of aggressively pushing in means that if we get caught like we did sitting with the barrel above the tank, we can't do the damage to take them down. So in a lot of cases, it's going to be safer to sit back and let the enemy tanks come to you before taking them down. Overall, however, if you can position yourself correctly, this will be a tank that can take down the enemies very quickly. Let's get a final kill here and check it out against another boss fight. Up next, we've got Scourge coming in. As with the first boss, the same thing will happen here. We do have a good terrain here that we can line up the shots quite easily, and with 3 simple shots can easily take the boss down. So what have we learned overall? Mammoth moves pretty slowly, but it is also very strong. The key things to remember here are positioning yourself correctly on the terrain so that you can take advantage of the very straight shot. But if you can manage that, you will most likely take the tanks down in a single shot. It's also incredibly powerful versus boss tanks, only needing 2 or 3 shots to be able to take them down. With the different weight distribution, with the barrel being quite heavily on the front, you'll need to be careful traversing across the terrain, especially at quicker paces. You'll need to ensure that your balance is just right as you're going over those bigger hills. Mammoth is a very strong tank. The only thing that you'll need to focus on is the positioning. Land your shots and you will be easily making your way through the maps. This concludes our look at Mammoth. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all our content. Follow our social medias as well, and join our Discord to interact with the community, where you can participate in giveaways, share fan art, amongst other things. Also, if you play Mammoth, don't forget to leave us a comment below to let us know any hints or tips that you have on how to play Mammoth to the best abilities. Until the next time, have fun, and we will see you on the hills.